Ryan and I spent a lot of time on this deer last year, so then I stuck with him after season. Found his sheds, and I got a text from a farmer, farms the land where the bale buck is, and come across a dead buck. So I drove here and
in the deer woods, you get out what you put in. Whether a weekend warrior or a year-long fanatic, in the end, you'll earn every inch. For us, that's a 365-day-a-year grind, scouting, setting up, making it a lifestyle. There's no words that can describe what deer hunting means to some, but a picture is worth 1,000 words, and now for nearly a decade and over 100 episodes, we've shared what it means to us in film. And more importantly, we've had the opportunity to watch, hunt, and just enjoy some of the biggest and oldest deer that call the Whitetail Woods home. This is Season 8.
Dean Partridge's Canadian Whitetail is proudly brought to you by Ozonics, undetectable, undeniable. Elite Archery, the world's most shootable bow. Stealth Cam, proven reliability, proven quality, proven performance. Excalibur Crossbow, the most trusted crossbows on the planet. Big & J Long Range Attractants, the aroma is super strong, the range is super long. Nocturnal Lighted Nocks, switch on accuracy. The Heater Bodysuit, #1 in cold weather hunting gear. Hoyman, your land, your legacy. Black Eagle Arrows, superior carbon technology. Central Boiler Outdoor Wood Furnaces, performance and value by design. The Whitetail Institute of North America. Under Armour, go where you don't belong. And by Limb Saver, products that work.
October 6th. We got our first snow of the year last night. Got about 3 inches. It's been raining the last 2 days. Got over 2 inches of rain. That turned to snow. Bale buck was in last night. I wasn't sitting here. I was somewhere else. He was in last night at 6:40, so we're hoping he comes back tonight.
In and settled in the early October snow, Josh has an odd visitor arrive, followed shortly by deer as they begin to move. As evening and season wear on, it's not until March that Josh would have another encounter with the bale buck while out shed hunting.
We're just out today looking for the sheds of a buck we call the bale buck, me and Ryan here. We were after this deer all fall, and Ryan just spotted something in the snow here, so we're gonna go and take a look. There's the 6 side. The other one's leaning right up against the tree over here.
A great find off a great buck, but little did Josh know that unfortunately this would not be the last time that he'd have his hands on the bale buck before seeing him during season.
This segment has been brought to you by Central Boiler Outdoor Wood Furnaces. A central boiler easily connects to your existing forced air, in-floor radiant, baseboard, or dual heat system to heat your entire home in domestic water. Central Boiler, performance and value by design. Canadian Whitetail has also been brought to you by Slick Trick Broadheads and Dual Game Calls. Glendale, the biggest and toughest 3D targets in the universe. Bog Pod, more than just a shooting rest. Raculator. Score your trophy fast, easy, and accurate. And by Scott Archery and Custom Bow Equipment. This segment has been brought to you by the Heater Bodysuit. The Heater Bodysuit is the ultimate cold weather hunting garment that allows you to stay on stand longer and sit comfortably. The Heater Bodysuit. You stay warm or your money back.
Before the break, Josh and Ryan had picked the Bale Buck sheds, and as spring gives way to summer, their scouting efforts produce on the Stealth Cam. Now a year older, a year bigger, the Bale Buck looked better than ever. Long beams and tall tines, the Bale Buck was gorgeous and was moving well in daylight. And Josh and Ryan were ready to get set up. Improvising to be in the spot that they need to be had paid off in the past, and Josh and Ryan get their makeshift bale blind set up for the season.
We're gonna go sit for the Bale Buck. Nice 6x5, real tall tines, nice looking deer. See what happens. He's been coming out early, so everything should work out.
As evening passes, Josh doesn't have an encounter with the Bale Buck, and he was about to hear why. There was a very specific reason that seeing the Bale Buck from the stand was not even possible.
I was just checking all my cameras this morning. Kind of gonna see where I'm gonna sit tonight. See if I should change plans or. And I got a text from a farmer. Farms the land where the Bale Buck is. He was burning some sloughs this morning and come across a dead buck. So I drove here and it's the Bale Buck. Ryan and I spent a lot of time on this deer last year and never did get video of him. So then I stuck with him after season. Found his sheds. And so the last week or so I've been switching cameras around. Moved 4 or 5 around this area trying to get on him a little better. But I guess I was a little late.
Welcome to this week's Canadian Whitetail Scouting segment. Locate, learn, set up, hunt. Brought to you by Big & J Long Range Attractants. The aroma is super strong. The range is super long.
Well, May is here now. The leaves are out, the grass is turning green, and we're going to wrap up our shed season for the year. But one of the most asked questions we get is, what do you do when you go to look for sheds somewhere? When you see quad tracks, skidoo tracks, and you know that people have already been there to pick sheds. Sheds are hard to find, and that's why there's people that are good at it, and there's people like me that are not so good at it. But when we head to a property, we find out that people have already shed hunted it, or they've been in there in skidoos or quads looking for antlers. If we've got permission to shed hunt there, we're still gonna look, and we're still gonna pick sheds, because I've never seen anybody pick up every shed that they come across. At the end of the day, there's more people hunting, there's more people shed hunting. We feel that everywhere, even up here in Canada, but it's not a bad thing. We just go out, we just do our thing. I mean, some of those sheds might be gone, but a lot of them are probably still there if we look hard enough. If there's a certain shed that I'm looking for, that Steve's looking for, we keep going back and we keep looking for that shed. We know that shed might be gone, but until we know it's gone for sure, we're gonna keep looking, because looking is fun. We're learning about that property and we're not wasting time. So at the end of the day, go and shed hunt the properties you have permission on. Don't worry about what anybody else has done on that property. Just go and do your thing. And that's your Canadian Whitetail Scouting segment for the week.
This week's Canadian Whitetail Scouting segment has been brought to you by Big & J Long Range Attractants. This segment has been brought to you by Nocturnal Lighted Knocks. Simple, string activated. And now you can get 15% off all items by entering promo code Whitetail15 at Faradyne.com. Nocturnal Lighted Knocks. Switch on accuracy and let it glow.
With the heartbreaking news that his target buck had been found dead in the pasture, that was a wrap for Josh's season at home, and for November he was headed north to our Canadian Whitetail Outfitting Camp to guide. But he decided to set up his TC muzzleloader and take a few practice shots to bring it just in case he had time to hunt for himself. Lined up and ready, Josh was headed north to camp to work for the remainder of the fall.
It's good and froze up now, so I left our area and came and did some exploring in this neighboring area that's about 4 miles out. Found an area there's quite a bit of deer sign in here, so I'm gonna put myself up a personal bait in here, I think. Then if I get a good buck coming, I'll maybe get a chance to sit it towards the end of the season when we're kind of finishing up our last hunters. I can get the blind tucked into the willows up on the hill there, and then I'll be able to see really well from where I am. Be able to see over this next hill, and should be a good funnel spot for the deer to come through. The big old buck should feel safe coming here, so we'll see how it works.
Whitetail Insights, brought to you by the Quality Deer Management Association, ensuring the future of whitetail deer.
Early successional habitat, I guess the first question for some people, especially north of the border that aren't familiar with that term, is what does that mean when you look at any given property and the quality development of that property?
Essentially, you can break deer habitat into 3 components. You have the bush, or kind of wooded areas, you have food plots, and you have this early successional habitat, or like that kind of an old field environment. So it's not trees yet, but it's not something that you're actually growing agricultural crops in. And historically, that wasn't looked at as being all that important, kind of a leftover area. But what we're finding now is in many cases, that's some of the most important habitat for deer from both a food and a cover perspective.
This year we had a severe drought in the belt that we hunt in, where our plots looked, as much like sand dunes by August as they did by plot. There was nothing that we could do other than, if we could have irrigated them, which wasn't an option. So when that happens, that food source is gone for the deer. That food source is gone early in the year, right through the year. And the habitat you're talking about is something that is way more hardy and drought tolerant because it's a natural environment, right? Those natural plants always survive that a lot better.
And a lot of my food plots are surrounded by these old fields, these early successional areas. And I'm looking in there, and I have stuff that's waist high, that's providing a lot of cover, providing a tremendous amount of food that I didn't pay a cent for. I spent a lot of money on the food plots. Nothing here, and those really carry the deer herd on our farm. So extremely important habitat component, and very doable for anybody who has an opportunity to manage land.
Our lodge, our area that we hunt in northern Saskatchewan, it's 240,000 acres and there's no food plot, and it's massive boreal forest. And those areas, that you would kind of call an old field, the areas that they've logged out, like 6 years later when there's regrowth of just natural grasses, the natural shrubs, the natural broadleaf plants, that's where all the deer are. And we have deer up there that have very little contact with ag. That is their food source, and that area is also producing some of the biggest, healthiest whitetails in the world.
A lot of work right now looking at the nutritional content of those forbs, And the two biggest nutrients that we have in antlers are calcium and phosphorus. But what they're finding is in those forbs, the calcium and phosphorus levels are both way above what's necessary for deer to grow antlers. So that plays exactly into what you're saying, some of the biggest deer in those areas, because they have all that extra food, they have that cover, which certainly helps, and mineral packed forbs, which really help those lactating and that antler growth. So huge gains in much of the whitetail's range through those early successional habitats.
This Whitetail Insight is brought to you by the Quality Deer Management Association. Become a member and ensure the future of whitetail deer. This segment has been brought to you by Bog Pod. More than just a shooting rest. Bog Pod. Prepare for the unknown.
Now December, and with most of our clients got home, Josh has a hard-earned couple of days off and heads to a spot to top up the Big & J and sit for the day, hoping that after finding his target buck at home dead, that his season might improve.
It's December 5th. It's second last day of season up here in the north. I've been up here since October 25th, guiding for Dean and Jason. We just have one last hunter in camp. So I've been baiting this spot since I got up here in case I could sneak out at the end of season here. We got a nice buck kind of with drop beams coming. Gonna take a look at him and see what happens. Really enjoyed it up here. We'll be heading home in another day or two after we clean up camp, and hopefully I can take a northern deer home for myself.
As the day moves on and the snow and blowing wind increases, Josh spots movement and notices a buck heading his way. And to Josh's surprise, it's a drop beam buck off his stealth cam that he was hoping to see. With the drop beam buck well within range, Josh is ready to take his first available shot.
He's leaking good, and when he took off I heard him crashing this thick stuff straight ahead, so I'm thinking he'll just be laying right just a few yards ahead of me here. Oh, there he is, right there. Right there. Well, here he is. Nice snowy afternoon. Nice northern bush buck. I been up here guiding for Dean and Jason since kind of the end of October. I did a fair bit of hunting in the early season back home. We ended up finding one of my target bucks, the bale buck, dead. Still not sure what exactly happened to him, but so I brought the muzzleloader up north with me to guide. I thought if I could sit someday and hunt, I'd load up the smoke pole and try to get one up here. managed to get this guy this afternoon. It's my first northern deer I've ever shot. It was a great afternoon. Enjoyed sitting there.
This segment has been brought to you by Wild Edge and the ultimate climbing system, the Step Ladder. Safely design your climb in any tree, anywhere, with the most versatile, lightweight, and compact climbing system, the Step Ladder. Canadian Whitetail has also been brought to you by these fine sponsors. For exclusive content, follow Dean and the team on Facebook, as well as on Instagram and Twitter @WhitetailDean. To view all our past and present episodes, as well as new original content, visit our YouTube, Carbon TV, and Waypoint TV channels. For Canadian Whitetail gear and apparel, visit CanadianWhitetailTV.com.
Audio Jungle.